So I've been sitting here for about 2 years, waiting in anticipation ever since its unveiling, for a game entitled Star Wars Battlefront. Revealed in early 2013 to be a title worked on by EA and DICE of Battlefield infamy, well, fame if you want to put it that way, I've been following the project rather closely up until about a year ago, where I just kind of fell off the radar for everything. Obviously, you guys know about that, but then again, I got back into looking into this title, and my hopes went from very, very high to I could give a shit less about this game. Now, how could I say that about one of my favorite Star Wars entries in the series, in the Battlefront series? How could I say that about one of my favorite games of all time, Star Wars Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2? How could I say that? I mean, they could do no wrong. EA and DICE would make a perfect team for this kind of thing, especially with what has been revealed thus far, up until 2015 here, with the latest and greatest of fuck-ups, basically, in my opinion. Now, what am I rambling on and on about? Well, the reveal trailer didn't show any gameplay. There is that. They're trying to hype up the excitement, the anticipation, by showing what they can do, what the kind of cutscenes they can render, and whatnot. But that's not really what I'm talking about here. One of the biggest exciting things about Star Wars Battlefront 3 was its No Man's Sky-like gameplay, where you could get into a fighter pilot or fighter jet or anything like that, an X-Wing, a TIE fighter, and you can lift off simultaneously from a planet battle and go into space. Now, this was huge. There would be 2 battles going on at the same time. This was a big deal for Star Wars fans, especially Battlefront fans, because up until now, we've only had planet battles and space battles. There would be Planet Hoth and Space Hoth, as indicated by Battlefront 2. Now, this has been dropped in favor of, guess what, let's cut this entire game into a quarter. All that's going to be there is 5 planets with maybe 1 or 2 different maps to them. I mean, they made a lot of cuts to Battlefront 2, but I mean, it was still a decent game at heart. Now, this game they basically cut into a quarter, as I said before. They're going to have 5 planets, nothing from the prequel trilogy, no content dealing with, say, Naboo or Mustafar or anything, an instant action, and really I think it's just going to be a first/third-person shooter identical to Battlefield with Star Wars skins. So I don't really know how this is going to go. I'm not really excited for this game anymore, and their DLC practices, knowing EA, I suppose I should have just taken it with a truckload of salt from the beginning. But this is one of my favorite series we're talking about here. Growing up, I had played Battlefront to the death with my little brother in split-screen co-op, or split-screen multiplayer in instant action, and it was the best thing ever, practically. I didn't have a great internet connection. We didn't have YouTube. We didn't have Facebook or anything like that. It was just basically me and my games, and this was one of my favorites, especially growing up. And to see this, the Battlefront name being drug into the mud and thrown away in the trash like this, it's just unbelievable. I'm going to link an article in the description so you guys can see what I'm talking about, basically. I'll probably link a couple articles. I'm going to try and dig up what I can just to get you guys to see that a once, great title that could have had a lot of potential has been stripped down. One of my very least favorite parts about this news is the fact that they're going to be releasing DLC for this game. They didn't have DLC back in the Battlefront era of gaming with the Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2, but they're doing it now. Of course, it's EA, and the gaming age of DLC is upon us, unfortunately, and the complete editions that are selling for $200, I'm not even kidding about this, but the DLC contains maps and parts of the game that probably should have been in the game to begin with, especially if you don't have Conquest, you don't have a campaign. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. There's no campaign. There's no campaign, there's no Galactic Conquest, there's no space battles, there's only 5 planets, 5 fucking planets, and they're going to be releasing DLC. So, how much you want to bet about 6 months down the line when people already have this game, they're going to say, oh yeah, by the way, we're going to release some campaign content. $50. You know? It just saddens me. It pains me to see where this generation is going. You know, with the microtransactions, the free-to-play, the Assassin's Creed Unities, which is a video that I have yet to upload about. So, yeah, maybe you'll see it in unreleased Midnight Strike. But I'm really not in the mood for this shit. I barely buy games for this generation. I've only got like 6 PS4 games, and those have all been bought, you know, pre-February of this year, basically. Dying Light was the last game I bought. And before that, I think it was like GTA 5 back in November. I mean, I rarely buy games this generation. If I'm going to buy a game, it's going to be for like the GameCube or the PS2 or the Wii or something like that, just because of the shady business tactics that they've been doing this generation. So I know I've kind of veered off topic, but it does have kind of something to do with the Star Wars Battlefront scenario, how they're basically implementing all of these bullshit tactics that they've been doing this entire generation that have got to stop. So, what do you guys think of it? Are you still excited for Star Wars Battlefront, or do you think EA will live up to their namesake as the worst company in the world? Let me know in the comments section, and until then, this is Midnight Strike 3625. Keep calm and rock on.